Alright guys, this next story has been emailed in to me and it's talking about how his marriage is going with a Thai woman and he's looking for a bit of advice, I think. So yeah, let's jump into his story. I found your channel while I was searching for some advice and answers about my Farang Thai marriage. Just wish I found a channel like this the first time I arrived in Thailand. It's very interesting listening to all these stories, and especially the comments sharing raw advice to the guys in the stories. Hopefully, I can get your viewers' advice on my story as well. Feel free to post my story, but if you can, please change the names or remove the names from the story. Thank you. So, let's get into my story. I work on a boat for a living, and I'm out at sea most of the year. This meant that I would visit a lot of random countries, some good, but also some bad. Working on this boat is the reason I ended up in Thailand. At the time, it wasn't my choice of country I would have visited. It never even crossed my mind to visit Thailand really. Turns out, it would become my favourite country that I have ever visited. I quickly fell in love with the place, especially the food and how the people treat you there. I wasn't huge on the nightlife scene, but I did have a dabble now and again. It's changed a lot since then. I also met a nice Thai lady on my first trip. We pretty much hit it off instantly, and it wasn't long until we was in a relationship. I won't bore you guys with the dates and stuff, just know that it was perfect at the start. Things went pretty fast, maybe too fast between us, and she fell pregnant early on in our relationship. Because of her pregnancy, we decided to get married, and that happened 9 years ago, and we've been married ever since. During our marriage, we have also welcomed 3 beautiful children into our life. The hardest part up until now has been me working away for 7 to 10 months of the year, though not all at the same time. I have been going back and forth to Thailand every chance that I get. My wife doesn't want to move to my country, and up until now, that was fine with me. As I'm away a lot, it would be pretty pointless, though I would have liked my children to grow up here. Spending around 2 to 5 months per year in Thailand with my wife seemed to be fine for us both anyway. Now, before I go into the next part of my story, I think I need to make a few things clear with the listeners. When I met my wife, even after we got married, I did not know much about how Thai women work, especially bar girls. My wife wasn't a bar girl, by the way, and I hadn't done any research or heard any stories like the ones you share. I really wish I did, because I think I would have planned my future a bit different. After 9 years of marriage, I think the penny is finally dropping, and the more I hear about Farang Thai relationships, I can't help but feel this may be happening to me. Back to my story. For the first part of the marriage, around 5 or 6 years, it was going fine. We both seemed happy with the arrangement and there was rarely any disagreements. I think being away from each other for long periods of time kept the spark going and made us miss each other, so it was always a nice feeling when I'd be able to visit again. I send my wife around $3,000 a month. Remember, I'm not a random Farang sending bar girl money. I'm a Farang that's married to a wife and has kids with her. I'm not rich by any means, but I save a lot of money due to my work. And being away all the time, I don't need to pay for rent, food, gas and other bills. So I think 3,000 is an okay amount, though I do have to work more than I'd actually like to keep it at that amount. My wife claims that this goes on bills, help for the kids, food, and all the other expenses. However, for the last couple of years, towards the end of the month, she will say that she has spent up and needs more money for one thing or another. Mainly, the excuse has something to do with my kid. I really do not think she is being honest with me when it comes to money. I know it's expensive raising kids, but in Thailand, $3,000 to $3,500 a month should be enough. I always give extra when she asks, as I don't want to second guess her and then my kids go without something they need. They don't live in a big villa with a pool or anything fancy like that, just a standard Thai house with a couple of bedrooms. If all the money demands wasn't there, I would be able to be away at sea less and at home with my wife and kids more, but it seems I don't have much say on any decision making. In fact, whenever I do something new or do things my way, it's normally always wrong in her eyes and I'll be in the doghouse. Even if it goes well, she will pick fault with something. She gets really stressed out at me for no reason. She is not the same person I first met. I would love to find a different job so I can be at home every night with my wife and kids, but obviously I can't work in Thailand and she does not want to move to my country. Things would be totally different if we moved to my country. Better life for my kids and basically just an easier way of life. I'm from Canada, by the way. I haven't looked too much into visas for foreign wives in Canada, but from what little info I have read, it doesn't seem as hard as other countries. So she could easily come here and find a decent job to earn money that she keeps complaining about. I have tried to explain to her over the years on how the kids' life would be so much better and easier if we made the move to Canada, but she just does not want to listen. Well, the good thing is, I guess I can rule out that she did not marry me for a visa. Another issue is that she lives in some type of dreamland. Every month, she is coming up with new business ventures she wants to do. Last month, she wants to open a laundromat. This month, a hair salon. And next month, probably a shoe store. I just don't know. And guess who would be funding these ideas? That's right, me. However, I think she knows that although she gets as much out of me as she can, she knows I won't be investing in anything. One time, she wanted us to open a bar in Pattaya. I quickly made it very clear I would not be buying a bar in Pattaya or any property anywhere. There was some land for sale near her parents' house in Isan that she wanted me to buy. This actually was a good idea at the time, as the kids would be near her family if she ever needed help. Although I wasn't clued up about Thailand laws, I made sure to do my research, and I learnt that the land wouldn't be in my name, or only a small percentage of it would be in my name. I can't remember the exact law, as it was a while ago that this happened. Anyway, once I learnt that, it was a clear no from me about buying the land. We have had a good marriage considering all that. Of course we have had our ups and downs, but always managed to come out on top. I just feel like she doesn't respect me anymore. She is just not the same person I first met. Now, I know marriages go through a honeymoon period. Everything is perfect to start with. But no relationship is perfect. We all have our flaws, ups and downs, but this woman I married is really turning into someone I can't stand to be around. She is constantly angry at me, talking down to me, and one-wording text replies when I'm away. She knows I'm alone on the ship, with no family and friends around. She knows I miss my kids completely, and sometimes I feel she does this on purpose. And when she does want to talk, and contacts me first, it's normally to do with money, which will again lead to more arguments. I did really love my wife, but slowly falling out of love with her, and I really don't trust her when it comes to money. It seems with the way she treats me, she has already fallen out of love with me and is just holding on to me for the money. When we first got together, she did ask me for money because her family was in need. Later, when we got serious, she admitted that this was a lie and that she was sorry. I forgave her and considered it a one-time thing because we wasn't in a relationship properly, and she was the one that admitted it to me. If she never told me about it, I would never have known. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of trapped on what to do. Sometimes I feel like just saying, right, I want a divorce. We break up and both move on with our lives. But that's easier said than done when kids are involved. And I'm not one of them part-time deadbeat dads. I love my kids with all my heart, and the thought of never seeing them again really hurts. I know if we got a divorce, she would get the kids and probably use them as a weapon against me. In fact, during a couple of arguments, she has done just that. Said something along the lines of, "You'll never see your kids again." I'm not sure about Thailand, but in Canada, the mother gets the kids almost 100% of the time after a divorce. And I wouldn't like to spend my time going to Thailand and staying in hotels fighting to see my kids, having to obey to her every demand. And if you did not know, Thais stick together. She could turn her whole family on me with the click of her fingers. I wish she was a reasonable woman, where we would break up and have a good arrangement where I can have my kids. I'd still be willing to support her financially if I'm allowed to see my kids. Listening to other stories and reading online, I feel like it's literally me in the story, stunned and don't really know what to do. I know Thai culture is different and I do really respect it. I've done everything I can to help her and keep her happy, but she has just turned into a money-hungry woman. I'm not young, I'm in my early 50s and I have some bad characteristics like everyone else does. I'm not perfect and I'm not a saint by any means, but I don't think I could treat someone the way that she has begun to treat me. I think I've already mentioned that she wasn't a bar girl and hasn't done any entertainment work, well, as far as I know, but she did grow up poor, so maybe that is why she is this way when it comes to money. I don't know. I have never been allowed to take my kids to my country to visit their other half of the family, and I want them to meet everyone. If it was up to me, I would bring my kids to live with me full time. I'm sorry I've been rambling on here. I'm just trying to figure out how I got myself into this position, and I'm still none the wiser on what I'm going to do. I'm pretty sure we have to break up. I can't go on living like this. I guess my next step in this situation is contacting a lawyer both in my country and in Thailand to see if there is any way I can get custody of my children, though I am very doubtful. I would even settle for 6 months in Canada and 6 months in Thailand with their mum. All that being said, I don't have anyone else to blame than myself. We got in a relationship pretty quick and she got pregnant pretty quick also, and we all know it takes two to tango. Maybe if she didn't get pregnant, our relationship would have never taken off. Who knows? Though, I don't regret it because I love my kids with all my heart. They are the best thing that happened to me. I just wish things turned out a little different between me and their mum. I'm sure I'm not the first person to marry a disrespectful, money-hungry, life-destroying woman. Anyway, thanks for reading my story, and to anyone that might be listening to my story, I will be reading the comments and I look forward to any advice given. Okay guys, this story that was submitted is a very short one, but it's from a woman, so I wanted to read it out. And it's just talking about how her husband went off with some Thai girls, so yeah, let's get into it. Good morning. I have a take for you about Thai girlfriends. I travelled to Thailand for the first time in 2015 with my partner of 20 years. We were meeting friends there, but staying in another resort for 2 weeks. After 2 or 3 days there, I hardly ever seen my partner. He would come back to the room at like 4 AM or not at all. I wasn't in a position to say anything as this man was a big drinker and quite physical. This went on until the day we left. On checkout, we were standing at reception checking out. The lady asked about the one extra room and how that would be paid for. I looked at him and he told me he would sort it and for me to stand away. I felt red flags, but again, I didn't say anything. Back in Australia for a month and things weren't great. He went back to Thailand by himself. Then, didn't say anything to me on return, but changed his profile picture to a picture of him with a Thai girl that our kid found and told me. Needless to say, that was the end of our partnership after 28 years together. He put his new girlfriend up in a condo and paid her money each week. Flew her to Australia for 8 weeks and stayed 2 minutes down the road from me. Long story short, that one ended. He had about 10 since then and now lives in Thailand on maybe his 11th girlfriend.